He visited an ancient ship weekly. Then it reactivated with a shocking messages. While most explorers raced toward bustling star systems, trading hubs, or planets teeming with life, Elias preferred the silent void. He loved the abandoned ships, the ghostly remains of civilizations long gone. There was a story in every derelict vessel, and Elias was determined to read them all. Among these remnants, one ship had caught his attention more than any other. It was enormous, older than anything humans had catalogued. Its hull, blackened by time and cosmic dust, floated silently in the dark stretch of space like a tomb drifting among the stars. Strange alien glyphs covered its surface, faintly glowing when he scanned them with his instruments. For months, Elias had visited this ancient ship once a week. No one understood why. His superiors thought he was wasting time. "Captain," his superior's voice had echoed over the comm, "another week. You've been scanning that thing for months. There is nothing there. You are supposed to focus on active systems." Elias had smiled at the voice. "Sir, that is exactly why I visit. Sometimes the quietest places tell the loudest stories." The ship, he noticed, seemed to respond in small ways. A glyph here or there would seem brighter than before. A panel would shift its angle slightly. Perhaps it was just his imagination, he had told himself. But each week, the changes were a little more pronounced. The ship had no life signals, no power, nothing human sensors could recognize, but Elias could feel it. The first time he boarded it, the airlock had opened with a soft hiss as though welcoming him. There was no one to see, no one to respond, but a shiver had run down his spine. The corridors were vast and silent, made of metal that felt both ancient and impossibly strong. His footsteps echoed as he walked, scanning consoles and walls. Each glyph pulsed faintly under the scanner, almost like a heartbeat. Elias had spent hours trying to decipher them, but the code was unlike anything humans, or any known alien race, had ever developed. On his fourth visit, he found something strange. One of the consoles had moved. He was certain it had been firmly attached the previous week. A panel slid out, revealing a series of unknown symbols that glowed faintly blue. He touched it and the symbols changed shape under his hand as if recognizing him. Elias pulled back, heart racing. Could it be alive? Could this ancient ship, abandoned for millennia, somehow sense him? Weeks passed and Elias grew more obsessed. Every visit he brought better equipment, scanners, analyzers, portable AI interpreters. He recorded every small change, documenting each anomaly. The ship never threatened him. There were no traps, no hostile systems activated. It was patient, waiting. Humans, he realized, had a gift that others did not. They were curious, persistent, willing to risk themselves to understand what no one else dared. Where other species would have abandoned the ship, dismissed it as worthless, or blown it apart just to be safe, humans kept coming back. Every week, Elias reminded himself he was proving something. Patience and intelligence could outlast brute strength. It was during his 12th visit that the real change happened. He had just stepped through the main airlock, his boots clicking softly against the alien metal floor. The ship seemed normal at first. The same walls, the same consoles, the same faint glow from the glyphs. But then he noticed it, a small light flickering deep within the central chamber, a pulse, faint and rhythmic like a heartbeat. Elias froze. He raised his scanner, adjusting the frequency. The pulse matched no known pattern. It was not energy, not radiation. Something else, something alive, in a way he could not define. He approached the chamber slowly, careful not to trigger any alarms. The ship remained silent, still, and patient. When he returned to his small survey ship that night, he reviewed the day's recordings. His eyes widened as a new message appeared on his terminal, a message he had not received before. "Elias Varn, you have been chosen." The words glowed faintly on his display. Elias leaned back in his chair, stunned. He had no idea who or what was sending this. The message contained no signature, no sender, no coordinates, only his name and the single word, chosen. He spent the rest of the night cross-checking every system. His AI assistant, Lyra, ran diagnostics repeatedly. No external transmission detected, Captain, it reported. The message appears to originate from your own console. Elias frowned. Impossible. There is no technology in human or known alien systems that could generate this type of message autonomously. But the message stayed. It repeated at intervals, always the same. Elias Varn, you have been chosen. The next week, he returned to the ancient ship. His heart pounded as he entered the central chamber. The pulse he had seen before was stronger now, a steady rhythm that seemed almost synchronized with his own heartbeat. The ship was awakening. Panels slid open automatically, revealing intricate machinery that had not been active in millennia. Lights glowed along the walls, bathing the corridors in soft white. Elias moved carefully, scanning each console. The glyphs shimmered, shifting as though reacting to his presence. He touched one, and a holographic display appeared before him. Alien text scrolled rapidly, incomprehensible, but he noticed something strange. It was not static. The symbols were rearranging themselves, forming patterns that made sense to his human mind. This is incredible, he whispered. It's learning me, it's responding to me. For hours he studied the display, deciphering small parts of the language. The ship, it seemed, was not entirely dead. It had been waiting for someone who could understand it, someone who could think differently than any other species. Elias realized, with a mixture of awe and fear, that he might be the first human to truly communicate with it. When he finally returned to his survey ship that night, he could hardly sleep. His mind raced with possibilities. What was this ship? Who had built it? Why had it chosen him? He knew only one thing for certain. The galaxy was far larger and stranger than humans had ever imagined, and the small species that others dismissed as weak might have a chance to rise in ways no one expected. Elias stared at the stars outside his window. The pulse of the ancient ship echoed in his mind. Chosen, chosen, the word repeated like a mantra. Somewhere in the depths of space, an ancient intelligence had noticed him, and perhaps, just perhaps, it was ready to reveal secrets that could change humanity forever. And he would not leave. Not yet. The mystery of the ship, the pulse, and the shocking message had just begun. Elias knew the weeks ahead would test him in ways he could never imagine. But one thing was clear: humans had a way of rising where others fell. Their patience, their curiosity, their ingenuity, it was what set them apart. And for the first time in the silence of the void, Elias understood that humans might not only survive the galaxy, they might change it. Captain Elias Varn could not sleep. The message from the ancient ship echoed in his mind. Elias Varn, you have been chosen. He had spent months visiting the derelict vessel, fascinated by its silent corridors and alien glyphs, but now everything had changed. The pulse he had sensed last week was stronger. The ship was no longer merely an abandoned relic, it was awakening. By the time he reached the airlock of the ancient ship, Elias' heart was pounding. He had prepared for this moment for months, bringing extra sensors, portable shields, and advanced scanners. Still, nothing could fully prepare him for what he was about to see. The airlock opened automatically, sliding aside with a soft hiss. Inside, the corridors glowed faintly, powered by a light that seemed to come from nowhere. Panels that had been dark for centuries now pulsed with alien energy. The air was still, but the hum of machinery resonated through the metal floor. Elias stepped cautiously, scanning every wall and console. "This is alive," he whispered. "Not like us, not like any human technology, but it's alive." He moved toward the central chamber, the source of the pulse he had felt before. As he entered, the ship's systems fully activated. Holographic symbols appeared before him, forming patterns he could barely comprehend. The pulse was now a steady rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, or perhaps a voice speaking in silence. Elia's scanner analyzed the symbols. Some seemed to respond to his touch, changing shape as he traced them with his fingers. Others floated freely, rearranging themselves in complex sequences. And then the message appeared, a three-dimensional hologram directly addressing him. Elias Varn, it said, in a voice both mechanical and melodic, you have been observed. You have shown patience, curiosity, and intelligence. You are worthy. Elias stepped back in shock. Worthy? Worthy of what? He asked aloud, though he knew the ship could hear him. The hologram shifted, revealing a vast network of star maps, alien symbols, and intricate designs of machinery. The creators of this vessel sought a species capable of understanding knowledge, of wielding power responsibly. You, human, have proven yourself. The ship shall now awaken fully. You must decide how to proceed. Elias' mind raced. He had encountered alien technology before, but nothing like this. Nothing had ever judged him, communicated with him, or acknowledged human intellect. And yet here he was, standing before a machine that had waited millennia for someone like him. He spent hours exploring the chamber. The ship's corridors had shifted, opening paths that had been blocked during previous visits. Doors that had been sealed now revealed rooms filled with alien devices, panels, and machinery that defied human logic. He ran scans, taking careful notes, but he knew data alone could not explain what he was witnessing. The ship itself was teaching him, guiding him, responding to his every move. As he walked, he noticed subtle changes in the environment. Gravity fluctuated slightly in some corridors, lights dimmed and brightened in patterns, and machinery hummed in complex rhythms. It was as if the ship were alive, observing him, adjusting itself to his presence. And then he saw it, a large central console, unlike anything he had encountered before. It floated above the floor, suspended by unknown forces. Symbols and holograms rotated around it, forming patterns that seemed both mathematical and artistic. Elias approached cautiously. He touched the console, and immediately the holograms rearranged themselves, forming a coherent pattern he could understand. Coordinates, star systems, and alien writing formed a map of the galaxy, and at the center, a single glowing point pulsed with a steady rhythm: Earth. The ship's voice returned. Your species has been observed. You are capable of growth beyond your current understanding. The galaxy shall now take notice of humanity, but others will see this as a threat. Elias' heart skipped a beat. He understood immediately. The ship was not only a repository of knowledge, it was a beacon. By activating it, he had drawn attention, not just from the ancient technology but from other civilizations. And some of them might be dangerous. For days, Elias worked inside the ship. He decoded patterns, learned the basics of alien systems, and began to understand the true purpose of the vessel. It was designed as a test. The creators had wanted to find a species capable of understanding, reasoning, and creating. And humans, through patience, curiosity, and ingenuity, had passed. But the ship's systems were complex and delicate. One wrong move could trigger defensive mechanisms, potentially destroying everything. Elias realized he was not only exploring the ship, he was negotiating with it. Every step, every touch, every command had to be precise. Then, one morning, the ship presented him with a choice. A holographic display appeared, showing multiple star systems, fleets, and unknown alien structures. You may claim the knowledge of the creators, the ship said, but doing so will draw attention. You must decide whether humanity is ready. Elias paused. He thought of his home planet, the people he had sworn to protect, and the potential for humanity to rise in the galaxy. And he also thought of the risks: rival species, hostile civilizations, and the possibility that humans were not yet ready for such power. I will do it, he said finally. Humanity is ready to learn. Immediately, the ship responded. Energy coursed through the corridors, lights brightened, and the pulse intensified. Holograms formed around Elias, showing the inner workings of the vessel, star maps, and alien technology. The ship was giving him knowledge, slowly and carefully. Over the next week, Elias learned more than he ever thought possible. He discovered how to harness energy in new ways, how to manipulate matter with thought and machinery, and how to communicate across vast distances without delay. And he realized something extraordinary. Humans were uniquely capable of understanding this knowledge because they combined creativity, reasoning, and empathy, qualities that other species lacked. But the ship also warned him repeatedly. Others will come. Some will seek to destroy you. Some will seek to claim what you now hold. You must protect it, and you must protect humanity. Elias understood the gravity of his task. He could not simply keep the ship for himself. He needed allies, a strategy, and a way to ensure humanity could survive the coming challenges. And yet, he also knew one truth that gave him hope. Humans had risen before, against impossible odds, and they could rise again. One evening, as he rested in a small chamber deep inside the ship, he received another message, this one not from the ship, but from a distant monitoring system he had set up. Unknown fleets were moving toward his location, scanning for unusual energy signatures. The awakening of the ancient vessel had not gone unnoticed. Elias' mind raced. He had to act quickly. He began designing decoys, cloaking fields, and protective measures to shield both the ship and himself. Every decision had to be precise, or the technology he had uncovered could fall into the wrong hands. Yet, even in the face of danger, Elias felt a strange calm. He had always known humans were underestimated. Other species saw them as weak, reckless, or unworthy. But here, in this silent, ancient vessel, humans had proven something extraordinary. Patience, curiosity, and ingenuity could unlock what others could not. And now, it seemed, humanity's chance had arrived. By the end of his second week inside the reactivated ship, Elias had established a working interface with the vessel's systems. The holographic maps displayed the galaxy in unprecedented detail. Alien technology was laid bare before him. And the ship itself seemed to recognize his presence as a partner, not a mere user. He could feel it, like a pulse running through his veins, in rhythm with the ship's own heartbeat. The vessel was alive, and it had chosen humans. But as he looked out of the ship's observation window toward the star-strewn void, he saw distant fleets approaching. Some were curious, some were hostile, and some would do anything to claim the ancient power for themselves. Elias knew the next steps would be dangerous. He could not hide forever. Humanity had been given a gift, and now it would have to prove itself, not just to the ship but to the galaxy. The ship's voice echoed one final time that evening. "You have learned much, Elias Varn, but knowledge alone is not enough. You must act, you must protect, and you must rise. Humanity's journey begins now." And with that, Elias understood the truth of the message he had received weeks ago. You have been chosen, not just for himself, but for all of humanity. The ancient ship, silent and patient for millennia, had finally awakened. And the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Elias Varn stood at the observation deck of the ancient ship, staring into the black emptiness of space. The galaxy stretched endlessly before him, a vast sea of stars, planets, and unknown civilizations. The pulse of the ship under his feet echoed in rhythm with his own heartbeat. For months he had explored this vessel, learned its secrets, and interacted with its alien intelligence. But now, the real challenge had begun. The holographic maps displayed approaching fleets. Some were curious observers, distant scouts from peaceful civilizations. But others were predators, ruthless alien species that had noticed the activation of the ship and now sought to claim it. The moment the ship had awakened, humanity's presence in the galaxy could no longer remain hidden. Elias took a deep breath. "This is it," he muttered to himself. "The moment humans have been waiting for without even knowing it." The ship's voice resonated through the corridors, calm and commanding. Elias Varn, the galaxy is aware of you. Some will seek to destroy, some will seek to conquer. You must act. Humanity's path is no longer private. He activated the ship's defense protocols. Energy shields formed around the hull, invisible to the naked eye but strong enough to withstand orbital bombardments. Automated turrets rose silently from hidden compartments, their alien designs shimmering with lethal precision. But Elia's new brute force alone would not suffice. He needed strategy, cunning, and the unique adaptability of humans. The first alien fleet appeared at the edge of sensor range. Sleek, silver warships glided silently toward the ship, scanning for life signs and energy anomalies. Their movement was precise, coordinated, and efficient. Elias studied their formations. Other species would have panicked or attacked blindly. Humans, he reminded himself, were different. He accessed the ship systems. Holographic displays floated before him, showing alien weapon patterns, fleet maneuvers, and energy distributions. Elias worked quickly, analyzing weaknesses, predicting their tactics, and adjusting the ship's defenses in real time. The ship itself seemed to cooperate, responding to his thoughts, rearranging shields and activating mechanisms he had not even noticed before. When the first fleet arrived in range, Elias was ready. The ancient ship unleashed a wave of energy that disrupted enemy sensors, causing confusion among the alien ranks. Automated drones, small and fast, shot out to intercept incoming projectiles, neutralizing attacks before they could reach the hull. The aliens attempted to adjust, but Elias had anticipated every move, guiding the ship's systems with human ingenuity that no algorithm could replicate. "This is what makes humans unique," he whispered. "We can adapt, improvise, and overcome." Despite the battle, Elias never lost focus. He guided the ship through complex maneuvers, using its ancient technology to create illusions, decoys, and false signals. The alien fleet struggled to predict his actions, their advanced AI failing against human creativity. They began to retreat, confused and frustrated. But Elias knew this was only the beginning. The real challenge lay in the leaders of these fleets, those who would not tolerate failure or retreat. The ship projected a new set of coordinates, showing distant star systems where rival civilizations were now mobilizing. Elias realized that humanity's rise had attracted attention on a galactic scale. He had to think beyond defense. He had to secure humanity's future. He accessed the ship's internal knowledge banks. Algorithms, star maps, and engineering schematics filled the holographic displays. Elias began to understand the ship's ultimate potential. It could terraform planets, generate energy on unimaginable scales, and manipulate matter with precision far beyond human capability. But more importantly, it could teach humans to use these abilities responsibly. "The galaxy has underestimated us," Elias said aloud. "They think we are weak, but they have no idea what patience, creativity, and courage can achieve." Over the next several weeks, Elias worked tirelessly. He developed strategies to protect the ship while simultaneously establishing hidden human outposts. The knowledge from the vessel allowed humanity to advance rapidly. Technology that would normally take centuries to develop was now within reach. Humanity was no longer a minor player. It was emerging as a force to be reckoned with. Alien scouts continued to appear, testing human defenses. Some fleets were aggressive, others cautious. Elias used every tool the ship offered, combining technology and human ingenuity to outmaneuver and outthink them. With each encounter, humanity gained more confidence. Other species began to recognize that humans were not to be underestimated. Elias also realized something profound. The ship was more than a weapon or a library of knowledge. It was a teacher. It guided him, corrected mistakes, and presented challenges that sharpened human abilities. Where other species relied solely on brute force or pre-programmed strategies, humans learned, adapted, and evolved. The ship had chosen humans not for their strength, but for their mind and spirit. One night, as Elias reviewed the holographic star maps, a message appeared. It was not from the ship, but from the Galactic Council, a coalition of advanced civilizations. Humanity has awakened, it read. The ancient vessel is active, prepare for contact and judgment. Elias smiled. Judgment, he muttered. Let them come. They will see that humans do not just survive, we rise. The coming months were a test of skill, patience, and courage. Alien fleets arrived in larger numbers, some seeking to destroy the ancient vessel, others seeking to claim its knowledge. But each time humanity prevailed, not through sheer power, but through strategy, creativity, and cooperation. Elias became a symbol of human ingenuity, leading missions that combined advanced alien technology with human unpredictability. As humanity expanded its influence, the galaxy began to take notice. Other species who had once dismissed humans as insignificant now recognized them as a rising power. Some sought alliance, others war. But all acknowledged one truth: humans were different. They could adapt where others failed. They could endure where others gave up. They could think in ways no machine or alien algorithm could anticipate. Through it all, the ancient ship remained Elias' guide. It continued to awaken slowly, revealing more of its secrets as humans proved worthy of its knowledge. Planets were prepared for colonization, advanced energy systems were activated, and human technology advanced at an unprecedented pace. But Elias never forgot the lessons he had learned from the ship. Patience, creativity, and courage were humanity's greatest strengths. The galaxy might have powerful fleets, deadly weapons, and ancient civilizations, but humans had something unique: the ability to rise, to adapt, and to claim their destiny. Finally, after months of preparation, Elias stood on the observation deck and looked at the galaxy. The distant alien fleets had either retreated or been neutralized. Humanity had gained a foothold among the stars. The ancient ship, fully activated now, hovered silently beside him, a testament to human persistence and intelligence. A final message appeared from the ship. Elias Varn, you have proven that your species is capable. The galaxy shall remember you. Humanity's journey has only begun. Elias nodded. It has only begun, he said, feeling a deep sense of pride and responsibility. We will rise. We will explore. We will endure. And we will show the galaxy the strength of humanity. As the stars stretched endlessly before him, Elias understood that the ship's awakening was not just a story of alien technology, it was the story of humans. Patient, persistent, intelligent, and courageous. The galaxy had underestimated them, and now humanity had begun its rise. The pulse of the ancient ship continued beneath his feet, steady and unwavering. It was a reminder that humans had been chosen, not for power, not for destruction, but for potential. And that potential was limitless. Elias turned to the command console. New coordinates appeared, pointing to distant star systems, unexplored regions of space. The ship had more to teach, more challenges to present. Humanity's journey was far from over, but for the first time Elias smiled. They were ready. Humanity was ready, and the galaxy would never be the same again.